G'day guys and welcome to the #1 Fanclub podcast.
I am Simon.
I am Sam and today we're discussing virtual reality. How it'll affect your future and whether you'll ever have to see your mother again.
Poor your mum.
Poor your mum. So why don't you join us as we go fan clubbing? Woo!
Okay, so if you could have anything in virtual reality, like any experience, man, it can be whatever on the face of the earth. What do you want to see in your virtual reality world?
Honestly, I'd be really content with just going on like a tour of some of the most famous places, but just from the comfort of my living room. So it's like you could literally walk up the Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower.
Step by step.
Like,
right?
Get to the side of the Eiffel Tower.
No, like, as you would as a tourist. Like, you know, not breaking the whole virtual reality thing.
because so you're actually, like, walking up thousands of stairs.
It's like a genuine tourist thing. It's like, there was a show that Ash was telling us about that was on the BBC or whatever it was, that was literally just an hour and a half of a camera sitting at the front of a ferry going down a river.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, which sounds incredibly boring, and probably was.
Your idea of virtual reality is the most boring thing that you could possibly use.
No. Like, imagine being at the top of the Eiffel Tower and looking out what you would see from the top of the Eiffel Tower. You know, being able to move around that sort of location yourself without ever actually having to go.
Never actually having to, like, smell French people.
You wouldn't have to talk to anyone. You wouldn't have to, you know. And then when you got peckish,
whatever language,
right? When you got peckish, you could just take the virtual reality off and walk to your kitchen.
Yeah,
right. Pff, make up a sandwich, away you go.
None of that French food. It's not like they're known for their delicious food or anything.
It's cheaper to eat here, isn't it? Because you wouldn't have to go to a gourmet restaurant. Wouldn't have to dress up. You know what else? You wouldn't have to spend money on shoes because you're not walking around anywhere, are you?
So your idea of virtual reality is that you can walk up the side of the Eiffel Tower in your underwear.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's
exactly what it is. What about you, Simon?
It's fair. I want to go to space. I would like to...
I don't imagine there's much out there.
Look, because it's virtual reality, they can put whatever they want out there. What if I got to experience Star Wars from just, like, a random... Like, I'm imagining, like, I'm floating out there in space. Yeah. I'm in one of those sensory deprivation boxes, and then I get to see the whole of Star Wars just happen around me, like a massive Star Wars battle around me. That would be cool. I could never do that. In fact, I reckon any of the virtual reality stuff is things that I'm not able to experience in real life. Like, if I want to go to the Eiffel Tower, I would just pay some money and go to Paris, you know?
Yeah, but you could experience so much from where you are, including things like going to space.
So much, and it would being a person on that
and it would cost so little to do it.
True.
And you wouldn't have to have the whole emotional tax of being around people while you travel. And have you ever been through customs at an airport?
I think we need to talk this through with like a therapist or something.
Right?
The emotional tax about being around people. And you did say that thing about your mother before. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. But
do we need to talk about this? We can chat after the podcast. We'll sit down with a cup of tea.
Alright, yeah. We'll talk. Let's talk afterwards. Anyway, back on topic. So, yourself, myself, Mark and Ash went to IRL, which was like a gaming art gallery. Really interesting.
So, we got for the first time in our lives to be able to use the Oculus.
Oculus.
I
use Oculus.
Oculus. I can't do it now. I cannot do it.
Use the Oculus Rift.
Use the Oculus Rift.
With a couple of different programs. So we had a roller coaster simulator,
It's cool because it was like
robot.
a roller coaster in like a house.
In a house? It was like Micro Machines.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Micro Machines?
No.
Oh, it was a good game. Anyway.
What did you do in Micro Machines?
It was like Hot Wheels.
I swear I remember a game that was sort of like that. I had this game when I was a kid where it was like you're a little toy car and you go through all these mouse holes in a house.
Mm.
So it's just a regular house, but you're like playing as a car and it's like a racing game inside
Yeah. I think Micro Machines is basically that, where you race along the furniture of a house and different obstacles and
Maybe
things
I
like
did
that.
have that game.
Yeah, you probably did. It's quite a popular game for just casual racing. Sort of like what a Hot Wheels would be when you throw your Hot Wheels car through the house.
In anger against your
In
mum.
anger against your
See,
mum.
I'm getting this again.
Yeah.
Same. In anger against having to interact with people.
I can't wait for virtual reality.
Yeah, it's so that you can
It's-
just
I can just
block yourself up from
Block
the world.
myself into my own little world. Yeah, it'd be like, hey, mum, hey, just gonna go put on my virtual reality headset now.
So if you learned that the Matrix was a thing, would you go back into it like Cypher?
I think going into the Matrix would be more fun than being out of the Matrix.
Yeah, I reckon so too.
It's like I can understand the whole battle between, wanting to be out of the Matrix and properly free from machines, but
why? Why do you want to be free from machines? It's like the machines are giving you this amazing,
and you've got the
utopian world of the late 90s. That's the best part. That's the best time
to be.
Yeah, in all of history.
But then to know that all your actions in that world actually would lead to no consequence because it's literally just a computer program.
I think I can deal with that.
It's like, clearly...
Being able to eat delicious steak all the time.
Yeah.
And see the Eiffel Tower, which doesn't exist in the real world. Yeah.
This is true. Anyway, that was virtual reality to the max. The Matrix.
So do you think that in the future we're going to be in the Matrix?
No.
Are you going to be able to download Kung Fu into your head? If you could download Kung Fu into your head, would you do it?
Not Kung Fu.
If you could download if you could download one thing into your head, what would you do? What would you download into your head?
That's a tough question.
You can download any sort of book or course or something.
Yeah.
You got it.
I reckon I'd love to download computer programming.
Yeah?
Yeah, and just know everything about computer programming.
You absolute nerd.
So I can create virtual reality so I never have to see anyone else again.
I would download, if you did that, I would download Kung Fu and then I would beat you up. So what was your favorite thing on the of all the Oculus Rift things? What was your favorite one?
I didn't get a chance to do all the really advanced ones that you got to do, but the roller coaster really was the one that stood out to me because the way that your brain ran through the whole feeling of it, even though you were just sitting still.
Yeah, I know. You got the stomach right up.
Yeah.
Mouth and you're like,
you're going lightheaded because you're going, whoa, this is crazy, and you're not feeling it, but that's a surreal feeling.
Yeah, it's cool.
To that you're not actually doing it.
The world has not felt real since then.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm a tiny person inside a roller coaster built in somebody's apartment. Please, let me out. See, that's how I'd feel at the Matrix. I don't know.
Maybe that's why they escaped.
This world is not real.
This world
We
is
saw
real.
into the real world, and we're actually all borrowers in tiny Hot Wheels roller coasters.
Can I say the new world's frame rate's pretty average?
Yeah, it's also really blurry.
Yeah, and I get a headache if I use it for too long.
Yeah, that's true. See, that wasn't so bad for me because that's how I experience everyday life.
Oh, okay,
right now,
yeah.
I'm wearing my glasses, I cannot see.
Oh, I kid you not.
Frame rate's really low right now.
I would have been... Maybe it was just... There was one that you explored a house, which, was pretty basic. Confusing when you're trying to use motion with your fingers, on the controller. Did you do that one where you...
Yeah, that's...
And so you're walking and you turn your head to turn somewhere else and you just sort of keep walking straight.
Yeah.
And you're like no, hang on,
what?
turn.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
And that was difficult to get to. And I wonder if it was a bit of that, but then also just the colour scheme or something. I got a roaring headache after using that.
Yeah, the best ones were the ones where you're sitting still. Does that make sense? So I watched this amazing, it's like an amazing music video, and it's like all these tiny cubes, and they turn into things. Freaking turned into like 100 giants walking past me, and it was terrifying but amazing, and I never want to take off reality goggles ever again. I want to experience that world.
I know, it's the brilliance of it is you can literally be put into any scenario in any situation and experience whatever, and because of the reality of it, you actually run through the emotions as if you were there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That says, like, you can be put into any scenario in any situation ever plausible. And your idea of any scenario and any situation that you could possibly be in is
exploring
walking the Eiffel Tower without having to talk to people or smell French food.
It's exploring the world. Imagine, right, going to Disneyland in your head. And that's like you didn't have to actually go to Disneyland.
You didn't actually have to go to Disneyland.
You could do the whole Disneyland thing right from the comfort of your own home.
No, but the pull of Disneyland is that you can immerse yourself in experiences and go on rides, and they have all these.
But I could do all of that with virtual reality.
Yeah, exactly.
And feel the same emotions and meet the same people. You know what? Mickey Mouse and the employees wouldn't be unhappy. It would be a utopian Disneyland. There would be no kid throwing up on the pavement because he's eaten too much candy. It would be an absolutely perfect version of what is essentially the perfect place on Earth.
You've got to think bigger than that, though, man. Like, the rides are there to give you, like, this experience of being in a Disney World. Why not take the second jump and experience the movies? Like, why not be Peter Pan flying over London with this
underage girl
by your side who
that's
you're like,
fantastic.
I never want you to grow up, Wendy. Please, come away with me.
Come fly to the stars.
It's okay, your parents don't miss you. They're in the middle of the Blitz. They're gonna be dying from German shell. I don't know why that's my Peter Pan voice.
Yeah.
It's like, come away with me. Come away with me, Wendy, and we can go together wherever we want. Look at these lost boys. They will never grow up, and their parents don't know where they are. Yay!
So is Peter Pan just a pedophile?
I think, no, Peter Pan is a boy, but he has lived for many years.
He's an allegory for death, right?
I think he's an allegory for child death.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why Wendy and Wendy's daughter, I guess, were both in wars. I think that's the idea. That he took them away to child heaven, which apparently is fraught with danger.
Yeah, and pirates and walking
pirates
the plank and crocodiles.
Extremely terrible depictions of Native Americans, and it's great, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Fraught with danger, but fun.
Well, I mean, fun with danger is...
See, yeah, that's good. I mean, it's better danger than being killed by a German shell. And
yes, true.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, you can fly around.
So if you could experience any Disney movie with virtual reality, what would you do?
My favourite is Lion King's Disney, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
famous Disney.
I sometimes get confused between Disney and then just exclusive Pixar, and I reckon being around in the Lion King would be interesting.
Yeah.
With
what
talking
would you
animals.
do? Would you be a talking animal, or would you be a...
I would be like David Attenborough and just observe it all.
Yeah.
Just sit off to the side and watch as Timon and Pumbaa sing Hakuna Matata.
And they would come up to you and be completely terrified because they've never seen a human before.
Yeah, and be like, what? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think I'd like to be in one of the new ones, like Tangled. I just like that world.
True.
That's cool. I'd like to be in the Sun Kingdom, you know? That'd be awesome. Just hanging out, you know, they do lots of dances and chalk paintings on the road. That's fun. That's fun stuff. And then there's also magic and things like that. That'd be cool.
So this whole virtual reality concept, that's how we could experience movies now. Because literally a half-hour film that was filmed in a 360-degree perspective could take you 6 hours to actually see it all.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because you would have to look in specific places to see different things.
Okay, so let's expand it out. What movie would you want to see just in general?
Imagine doing Inception
That'd
through
be
virtual
cool.
reality.
I'd like that.
Where you could literally live the Inception universe.
So you just like movies with soundtracks by Hans Zimmer? Because he wrote the Lion King songs as well, man.
Yeah.
That's soundtracks
It's
by
just
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, like, let's go King Arthur.
I've been hiding it all this time by throwing Taylor Swift as my real love, but truly it's Hans Zimmer.
True love. Yeah, that's it. The number one Hans Zimmer Appreciation Club podcast. That is a lot different, that soundtrack to...
It's very different to that.
I just can't wait to be king.
Most of those songs were sung by Elton John anyway. Yes.
Yeah, but a lot of the songs were written by Hans Zimmer. That's an interesting fact for you there.
There you go. Take that. But imagine filmmakers who set out with the sole purpose of creating a film that was in a completely immersive environment where by looking around to the full motion of movement you can achieve with the Oculus Rift, where literally you could be standing in the middle of a room and turn 360 degrees, look up and all the way down, you could experience multiple different stories happening all at the same time.
For that reason, I reckon what I would want to see is like Birdman.
Yeah.
So like a whole bunch of different stories and you're in this one location. You get to see them all in virtual reality, and maybe they do it like a play or something. So you have this whole building and everybody gets their virtual reality. You go and you walk up the stairs and you go and you can open the door and see this conversation between two people, and you're like, I'm getting this part of the story, and then you go back down. What if we had like a murder mystery movie and you had to stop periodically in between,
we're literally
get through everyone in the audience, and we're like, who do you think did it? So you've got all these actors around doing all these things, talking, and it's like, oh, I overheard a conversation in the upstairs bathroom about, you know, Peter Pan was abducting dead children. So what do you think? And it's like, actually, no, I heard that someone was framing Peter Pan, and actually, Scar pushed. I'm trying
off the cliff into the. You could literally be Sherlock.
Yeah, that would be so.
Imagine
cool.
actually.
You get to be...
Your job is to, within a sequence of time, solve a murder mystery.
That would be...
And you are actually limited by the time that you're in there. So say you had, like an hour gameplay.
Yeah.
You could this could be something that could actually take place over a 3-week period.
Yeah.
Where you actually have... And there'd be times where if you weren't there, you'd miss the clue or you'd miss a conversation.
Yeah.
And so actually, you might get to the end and not have any idea who it is and actually feel as satisfied as you would have had you actually got through the whole process correctly.
Yeah, that's cool as heck, because, hey, imagine, because, like, you can do that right now with actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They do it, but imagine having professional Hollywood actors being in that experience, and then you get to experience that experience, and you have the professional Hollywood actors, and so you can see all their little tics and stuff like that. That would be so cool.
That would be so
cool. That would be cool as heck.
That would be amazing.
God. Okay, so let's plan out our virtual reality experience, like the virtual reality game. Do you want it to be a murder mystery?
Yeah, it's got to be a murder mystery. I feel like that's what we're discussing.
What about what's it called? Deja Vu, mediocre film, but pretty awesome concept.
Mind-blowingly. I think that might be too... Let's
what
keep
if we're like in a warehouse, right? And we pretend our virtual reality goggles are actually jumping us back in time.
Right, yeah.
So we're
producing
there now,
holograms.
and we can pretend that we are looking at what happened 4 days ago. How rad would that be? And then you take them off, and they set up the whole room to be like to be like it would be like 4 days afterwards. So you're getting these 2 times in history, and what's real in front of you is there, and you go back and you're like 4 days ago, and you have to choose between whether or not you're looking for clues in the present or looking for them in the past. And you go with your friends and you're like, you go to the past, I'm going to look in the future, and how cool would that be?
What if you just applied the whole Cluedo concept to it? You had 6 people.
6 people, and one of the people in your group
is the murderer.
The murderer, and they know it. That is something you could do. You put it in virtual reality, and it says on a message in front of them that nobody else can see, you are the killer, you need to do this, you need to act like this.
Yeah.
And that can easily do it secretly. That would be so rad. I'm really excited for this thing that doesn't exist.
Imagine having an empty warehouse, putting 6 people in different corners like that, putting the virtual reality headset on them that created like a house so that they would have to follow, the directions and that happened. In the warehouse where they were all going around. They had a time limit in which to find the clues, to eliminate suspects and that. Where the butler... Have you ever played the DVD version of Cluedo?
No.
Okay,
that sounds cool.
But the butler gives you clues at different times where it'll just pop up on the screen and be like, oh, by the way, so-and-so overheard Mrs. White talking about how she was in the laundry at 3 o'clock of the afternoon.
Yeah.
And you already know that the murder occurred at 6.
Yeah.
Or the murder occurred at that time in a different room, so you can eliminate that. And the whole concept of this game is to race the other 6 people, or 5 people. One is the murderer, and the murderer is racing around trying to cover up evidence and clues.
The murderer has to cover up evidence and clues, but what if the murderer also gets to kill people? That'd be cool. Like every couple of hours or so, and then on your screen it's like goes suddenly red, and it's like you have been murdered, and then you're out of the game. How cool would that be? And really scary too.
That would be really scary.
Okay, speaking of that, what about horror? Would you do a horror game?
So I hate horror games.
Yeah.
Like, I really hate horror games. When we played one late night, I was really just dreading every moment of it. That's the only horror game I've ever played. Yeah. I hate jump scares.
We're going to do some horror games.
I realise that, and, I'm... whatever. But I don't think I could do virtual reality horror games because I think I would hate it so much because it's so real. Like, picture doing Slender Man with a virtual reality headset.
I think that would be fun as heck.
I can't think of
horror games.
Anything worse.
See, look, for me, there's this nostalgic thing about it because when I was little, I'd play like Age of Empires and you hear that sound and you're getting attacked. And when I was little, get the heart racing and be like,
adrenaline.
What are we going to do? Attention, man, get out.
Enter Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
E equals MC's toy tuber. Yeah.
And then they'd send in a bunch of priests for some reason, and they'd have you ever had a priest convert one of your Big Daddies?
No.
I have had that. I was just like, it just screwed me over.
That would be amazing. I used to play with the priests because I used to think it was funny as I'd just have 10 priests, fully lever them up, and just send them towards a colony and see if I could overcome that colony by only using their people. Because they'd send an army out and the priest would be like, whoa, and then eventually he would be converted and he would turn against the other guys that are shooting the...
Yeah.
So if you can have enough momentum behind it...
You've got like a wall of watchtowers and you convert one watchtower in the middle and it starts attacking the 2 on the other side.
Exactly.
And
eventually, if you can convert enough people, the whole civilization turns upon itself.
Yeah,
Imagine playing Age of Empires through virtual reality.
That would be pretty cool. What would you do? So what kind of screen would it be? Would you have it augmented on your table out in front of you?
Imagine where it was like the Google Glass and it was hologrammed out like that, and you could actually physically with the other players sitting there.
Okay, so what if it's like an
But
RTS?
only you could see your clan.
So you see your clan, and you can use your fingers and stuff to control it
And tell people what to do.
What if it was like a wartime scenario? So you get intel of where other people are, but it might not be correct. And so you have this whole table of where everything is, and you see your guys properly, but then you see a marker where you think they might be, and you can say, hey, they're over here. So you know the whole map, because like that's the one thing I didn't like about Age of Empires.
You had to scroll it across. And...
Yeah, like it makes sense kind of for that BC type thing, but after that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You map out an area when you're a
yeah.
So you already know where everything is.
But you just don't know where.
You don't know where the other guys are. So you can see them sitting around.
And you could literally play that game across borders.
Yeah.
Imagine
how amazing would it be if you were sitting at a table and you had your whole thing sat out in front of you, and you're like going on the attack and you don't know where they are, and you're playing against somebody in South Korea.
Yeah.
And he's got a table in front of him too.
He's got the same map in front of him, and he's got his little area. And it's a map expansive enough to have maybe 6 different people on it.
Yeah.
So you've got different civilizations slowly building themselves.
Yeah.
To a point where, and eventually, you know, like you could lead the game. Because there's people that are full out attack. And so they'll spend all their resources to go on an early attack and an early siege to try and weaken a civilization, but never actually build themselves at home. And then there's, from a spectrum of that through to the opposite, where there'll be people that'll only build defense up in their territory, so that if you want to defeat them, you've actually got to beat them in their own home.
Yeah, and so the whole time you're setting up this intel to try and find out where they are, and you've got markers of what they are. So maybe you've got a little yellow flag, and you can pretend to pick it up and put it on the board over where they are. So you're like, boop. The yellow team are over there.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, cool. I put the yellow team, and you're like, the red team are over here. And you might get that wrong. You might go and bring your army over, and there's no yellow team. But you thought you got the intel from somewhere, and the messages got crossed at some point.
Yeah. Oh, and you could make it so... And it could be something that just continues. Like, you could have it as a real-time simulation over the course of a couple of weeks, where you could come back, check up on what's going on, you know, and it might be at 5 times real speed or 10 times real speed, rather than what Age of Empires is, where it's like, and everything happens, it's over in half an hour. You could have the game go for 3-4 weeks. You could, like, it wouldn't be something that you have to actively be involved in it every hour.
So it takes...
Where you could actually set up maybe a 6-hour period and go, this is what we're going to do for this 6 hours, but then you're alerted when an attack happens.
Yeah, so you're alerted on your phone when an attack happens or something, and you grab your virtual reality, you're like, oh, we're under attack, and you're like, but I've been working up these soldiers for the last week while I've been, you know, off doing whatever, and you come along and you bring all your soldiers and you get the attack, and you spend like 3 or 4 hours like staving off this siege, and then you're like, okay, now I have to get all my workers back to get all my food, and you leave it behind, and then you go off somewhere else.
Or what if
it's all happening at the one time?
What if on your phone you could enact commands from that to enable the game, so that while you're not there, or you could take your Google Glass, whatever holographic projector with you wherever you are.
So you can do like an augmented reality
any
type
surface, and
like,
just it's there,
and it flies out onto it,
and you can play the game where you are. You know, so you might need to set something up for 20 minutes, and so you're sitting there doing that, and then you can go into your business meeting.
Yeah, how cool!
And then then you're under attack, so you excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, right? And on the bathroom bench, you pull it back up, and you quickly deal with that problem and go back to the business meeting.
Okay, let's role play what this is about. Okay, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm at the start of the business meeting, and you just got an alert on your phone that you're being attacked.
I'm being
by
attacked. Yeah.
The yellow civilization and the red civilization at the same time, and you're not prepared for this. You haven't prepared all your warriors.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, boss. So you'll see that the graphs for this year are showing a pretty good profit.
I mean, I suppose that.
Yeah, I realise. Oh, sorry, my phone's just going off.
Okay, sure.
Oh,
is that a? Is that a game? When you
Well, it's. I wouldn't call it a game.
what are you
I'm-
a child?
Yes, actually, I'm 13 and I'm working for you. No, I need to. This is.
Was that sass?
Look, let me explain it to you briefly. So, what happens is I'm real time playing with 5 people from across the world.
This is not what I want to hear right now.
I realize this isn't what you want to hear,
We're
but let me.
Do you understand we're in the middle of a financial crisis?
We are?
Yeah, this is in the future.
Yeah.
We-
Financial crisis.
Things go in waves. There was a financial crisis earlier in the 21st century, and now we are about 30 years on, and it's happening again.
Yeah,
that's how it
yeah.
works.
That's
You
every 30
understand?
years. Yeah. No,
Yes.
I understand completely.
I don't know why I had to explain that to you, Jenkins. I don't know why I had to explain that to you, Jenkins. Not your real name anymore. I edited it out before. Okay, so Jenkins, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I need to go to the bathroom. And off to the bathroom.
And
the boss is sitting there.
There's nothing that I can believe right now that you actually have to go to the bathroom. I have to let you to the bathroom, but we're gonna have a talk about this.
Yeah, that's fine. But I need to go to the bathroom.
And then
so you
as
go-
you walk out,
Jenkins
I
goes to the bathroom.
slowly take my virtual reality goggles and I'm like, he's out. Attack him. Because I was on the game the entire time.
Exactly, yeah. And so you were actually Boss Slayer 99.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was massive boobs 46.
So, but yeah, so imagine the whole gaming world would change if that was to be the case, where even something like a Call of Duty, where all of a sudden a first-person shooter literally becomes a first-person shooter.
That would be cool as heck. Okay, so speaking of that, there is this theme park that they started in Utah where so it's this massive warehouse and everything's sort of made of foam-ish, white foam.
Yeah.
And they give you virtual reality goggles and a suit that makes you feel the things that you're feeling and weapons. Your eyes twitching right now. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm excited by this. Yeah. Go
Okay,
on.
so you play like maybe a game of laser tag, except you're all in mech, like big super suits, like
Yeah.
Halo or whatever, and you go around this obstacle course and you shoot each other. They also showed like doing like an RPG day, so they can do anything they want because they can move around the box
Yeah.
and change what virtual reality. So the theme park can be anything, and so you go in, you have a day with your friends where you do a Skyrim RPG as that, and they hand you the sword and you have the foam sword, but in your virtual reality it looks like a real sword.
Yeah.
And a dragon's coming for you, and it would be hilarious because like if you're watching it from far away, it's like a bunch of people with big helmets on in a white room
with
going,
foam stuff. Yeah.
But how awesome would
It
that
would be-
with a day out with your friends?
Probably the greatest thing about virtual reality, though, is watching the person doing it.
Yeah.
Because although you can see what they're doing, you don't understand the emotion they're going through because you don't actually get that connect between what they're seeing and what they're feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
To watch-
Because you know what they're seeing, but you don't understand the experience until you've done it.
Exactly. And even when you do it, you sit back and watch someone else do it and you go, did I look like that?
Yeah, and you're
And-
like, what the hell? Why
And
did I look
you realize that you did. And you were just so immersed in it that you just didn't care.
Yeah, you're like, I looked like, I don't know, like a puppy with a blanket on its head, like that thing when they freak out.
Yeah.
That's so what it's like.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could take virtual reality and use it to replace any activity that you have to do in your daily life, what would you do?
I think, like, for me, practically being at uni,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Lectures in
Lectures?
virtual reality. So you're like, I've got a lecture right now. So you go and you're talking to your friend. Oh my gosh, you're talking to your friend in a chat room, like across the table from you. He's on the other side of the world. He's in Spain or whatever.
Yeah.
His boss deported him from playing too much Age of Empires at work.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm not going to fire you, but I'm going to send you on this trip.
Yeah, go to send you to Spain,
yeah.
where there's no internet, so you can't play the game.
Yeah,
and then destroys your colony.
Yeah, and he didn't realise that there is internet in Spain.
Yes.
There's internet everywhere in the world.
Stupid boss.
Yeah, stupid boss.
Yeah,
You
Boss
work
Man
for a
99.
terrible country. Sorry, Boss Man 99. He's actually called Boss Man because he's a boss.
Charles Bossman.
Charles Bossman. So, no, you're sitting across from your friend and you're like, I have to go to a lecture right now. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, dude. And so you grab like out in front of you, there's this button and you just pull it down and maybe like you're pulling a curtain or something away. You're out of this like room that you're talking with your friend and suddenly you're in a lecture theatre or whatever. Or not even have to be in a lecture theatre, like, you know, lecture theatre makes it difficult to hear and whatever. What if you're just sitting in a room?
You're having a conversation with the lecturer.
Yeah.
Where the lecturer
is talking to everyone, but you're sitting right in front of them.
But you're sitting right in front of them.
Just as well as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be distracted. The only thing you could see would be the lecturer. And then on top of that, what if, like with the virtual reality, like those foam swords, but you see the real sword? Instead of having to pull something across, you have like maybe a piece of paper or a piece of card that you pull up in front of your headset or you look down at and becomes a remote control.
Yeah.
And you can control everything from that.
That would be cool.
And then it becomes a note-taking pad that you can take notes on, which then stores to a device later on so you could read your notes about what you learnt in that lecture.
Okay, so if you were talking to your friend or going to university in virtual reality and you had the opportunity to make like an avatar for yourself and make yourself look different, would you do it?
No.
No, I don't think I would either.
I'd probably take a picture of myself,
So
assuming you could do that.
I mean, I'm
like,
extremely attractive in real life.
Yeah, I'm not, as you can see by my dating profile video.
Look at you, you're beautiful. You're a beautiful man.
Everyone takes a 3D scan of themselves.
So we need to talk about this when we're having our tea time with about
tea time about mum.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about that. Family dinners would be completely ruined by the concept of virtual reality. Because the thing about virtual reality, like a phone distracts you because you screen, but you still have your peripheral. Virtual reality takes you completely from the world you're in, removes your peripheral. There's no chance to converse with...
So it's considered pretty rude to be on your phone at a dinner table. I reckon it would be considered like just totally like, no, you don't go on your virtual reality when you're at the dinner table. Like, I think most people would be like, nah, that's just like totally not cool. That's not on at all.
But you could have family dinner from wherever you are.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like,
my dad used to have to work in Sydney, and so we didn't see him all week, every family dinner, until Friday. Then he'd come back. So would it be amazing if we all got to sit down and he was there at the table with us? And he was there at the table literally anywhere. What if he was there at the table at the top of the Eiffel Tower while we were eating
yeah, exactly.
our flat tacos? You know?
could virtual reality yourself to any... You could... But see, then... Like, we're lucky because we've been in a context where family dinner is a time that is that family dinner. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
But the few that do... You know, like, would this be something that actually distracts away from that with the whole concept of not actually having to physically be present in the room, but you could be present through vision.
Yeah.
You know, and you could be eating tasteless food on a plate in front of you, but it could look like whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. I'm not sure I like that.
No.
Because the best part of food is how it tastes.
How it tastes, yeah, exactly.
But you could make it look better than it looks and then taste as good as you want. And the texture, that would be... But, you know, those things can happen too. Would you, if you could augment your whole house, would you bother decorating it? Or would you just...
See,
I think I would augment it, I would have it as sparse and, you know, practical as possible. And then if I wanted to see something, I could change it to anything that I wanted.
Yeah.
What if I was wearing... If it wasn't a massive, like... thing, if it was like just really easily augmented reality, like that's probably where they're headed anyway, and I just had glasses like I do now, I'd probably like change it every day.
Well, it's interesting because a house design, you know, how often have in your house, you've gone through a complete renovation stage.
Yeah.
It's not something you do because it requires you to... I remember when we had to tile our floor.
Yeah.
And that was a process that took 3 or 4 weeks to tile the house because we did it ourselves, you know, or you get someone in to do it. It takes them 2 days, costs you so much money. Would you end up redesigning, though? Because although it wouldn't be as difficult as doing that, still in an augmented reality, especially at the start, you know, like redesigning an entire house would still be probably a day-long project.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you'd have to find first what you want, and then you'd have to apply it to that area, and then you'd have to layer upon layer of what your different... Like, for example, if you wanted a window there.
But...
You'd have to layer the window on top of the wall, or you've got the wall, and then you've got a picture frame with a picture in it, you know.
But
so you've got layer upon
I could
layer.
change what is in my picture frames really easily, what colour my walls are.
Oh, yeah.
So I go in, I have this full palette like I usually do on
But
my
would
thing
you?
and go, totally, I would.
Do you reckon, like, the novelty of it, you know, for the first 3 months would be very, very much like a novelty.
Mm.
But then after that, would you end up doing it? Or would you just...
do it every... See, look,
I don't think it'd be something you do every week.
I rearrange my room once every couple of months. Completely. Just to have something fresh, right? That's really, really hard to do. Whereas changing the colour of my walls in virtual reality would be really easy. So maybe I'd do it more often, I think. Because I like changing all the time.
Yeah, that's
true. So maybe I'd do it.
So,
and definitely
for
change
me...
the pictures. So imagine this. You have this amazing experience at a party or something like that. What if you had a wall of photo frames and they were all blank for the virtual reality, and then you have your augmented reality glasses and they come up from your social media. So it's what your pictures your friends and stuff are putting up. You're like, let's go and check my literal friend wall and
see what's happening.
And it's like,
but see,
look, it's hundreds of babies and weddings.
House design would become so unimportant in that stage, because you could literally, like, sitting at a table here, you could put all of that there.
Yeah.
In front of you on that table. I could, you know, with augmented reality, I could literally have my Facebook feed there and go through it, take bits out I don't want, put things in there I do want. I could then go to the internet, it would be there. I could then, like, your world would become literally that bit in front of you.
Would it? Because it already is that bit in front of you. I reckon it would go expand out, because that's what we want. You know, so if you want to go and contact your friends, so all the things that you can do on your computer now, you would do, but they would be delegated to different parts of your house. So you can go and watch internet online, like YouTube videos, but you now go to your living room to do that, and it's on this big square, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do that.
But would you take the time to delegate it to different places?
Totally, I would set it up like that.
See, I wouldn't. I would find...
Because it would take maybe like a day.
Yeah.
But then I never have to change it again.
I would go and I would buy a really comfortable couch.
And then just be...
And that would be it. That would be my couch.
A couch, and then just a box in the middle of the room for like chicken, and then you just sit there and you're like, I'm sitting on the top of the Eiffel Tower, not smelling any French people, and I don't ever have to see my damn mum again.
I'm having dinner with her now, right now, even though she's not here with me.
But I changed what she looks like.
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality. So on that, I have been Simon.
I have been Sam, and we've been discussing virtual reality in the future.
And this is the #1 fan club podcast, and we are fans of virtual reality.
Yeah. We are fans of some parts of virtual reality.
Goodbye.
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 See you later.
Adios.
Amigos.
Hasta la vista.
Lady. So, we need to talk about your mum. Why do you...
Look, it's just an issue that I've had for a long time, you know, ever since I killed her. It's just been really difficult for me to get her out of my head.
Yeah, I know, I mean... that makes sense. That
Yeah,
happens for a lot of
so-
people who kill their parents. So
I just think I don't think I should just stab to dead in the heart like I did with the blunt knife.
I know it just doesn't make any sense. Thank you for listening to the #1 Fan Club podcast. If you'd like to choose next week's topic, then carve your suggestion into a stone and throw it into the Indian Ocean.